Hi people, it's Archivist here, and today I want to consider the idea that hype can hurt. So when I went back and played Watch Dogs for a video that I did recently, I realised that the game is actually quite good, really a lot of fun. But when I first played it, all I could feel was disappointment, and overall the impression I got from the game was fairly negative. Not that it was a totally broken game, certainly not as bad as Assassin's Creed Unity, but I definitely had a negative feeling towards the game. And I went back and played it purely for the sake of a video, and what I found myself doing was playing the game more and more, actually playing through the entire story all over again, and enjoying it. Some of the performance issues, I do state some of the issues have been fixed, which admittedly makes it more enjoyable. But I think that the biggest difference between me playing it now in 2015 and playing it then in 2014 is the pre-release expectations that Ubisoft set out for us. So if you recall back to 2014 or maybe even basically when Watch Dogs was announced up until the game came out, there were huge expectations for this game. And everyone was totally excited. They thought it could be the next GTA 5. In fact, because it was a next-gen game, they thought it would be more than GTA 5. They thought we'd had GTA 5 last year, that was amazing, but wow, Watch Dogs is going to be even better. And the reality of the situation was that the game was not better than GTA 5. Certain aspects of the game, such as the driving, the character development, these were all inferior to GTA 5, and so what we had was a last-gen title overshadowing a next-gen one, and it's hard not to be a little disappointed by that. But now, in 2015, I have no expectations. In fact, quite the opposite. People complain about the game, and so I went in expecting nothing. But what I found was a fairly fun experience, not amazing, not living up to the original hype, but because I don't have these expectations in the back of my mind anymore, I could just enjoy the experience for what it was, for what it is, and it is a lot of fun. It's not the best game ever, it doesn't have the most original mechanics, although in some areas it is quite original actually. I think the way it does deal with hacking while not being authentic can be quite fun, but it is a good game, it's a solid game. And what I wonder is, had Ubisoft not created these absolutely unrealistic, unachievable expectations for the consumer, players would have just played the game, they would have just enjoyed the game for what it is, and not had this nagging sense in the back of their mind that this should have been more than what it was. Sure, Ubisoft have benefited from it in some ways. They made enormous sales when the game came out, first of all, but the thing is, the cost of that is souring the franchise's name before it's really even begun, and so as a result, the next Watch Dogs game may not sell as well. And I think that's a shame because Watch Dogs is a fun game. I just think that it's not really in these companies' minds to be conservative when it comes to advertising, because what's the point in doing that? Why understate your game? It's a product that you need to sell. But the thing is, sure, use hyperbole if you want, exaggerate a little bit if you have to, but do not, whatever you do not make up lies. Do not show something that isn't authentic. Do not show visuals that won't be in the final product. Do not make out that certain mechanics are going to be more dynamic than they are. Do not pretend that the AI will be more sophisticated than what they are. You have to be honest, because otherwise people will not trust you. When I see a bug in a game, when I see a demo and it's got a bug in it, in a way I'm not at all worried, because I think, well, this means they're showing us the real game, they're not showing us a segment of the game that has been made specifically for a demo. A game that I remember that had a pretty terrible showing at an E3 convention was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I remember that the demo actually crashed when they were showing it, and the thing was, I remember thinking to myself, well, at least this means that they're showing us real-time footage. This is the game itself. And hey, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, in many ways, the best Assassin's Creed game of them all. Certainly better than Unity. And unless I'm mistaken, and do correct me if I am, the Unity showing, the demos, all looked really, really good. Better than the game actually ended up being. And that's what I do how can anyone really enjoy something like E3 anymore if we constantly have to think at the back of our minds, they're probably lying to us. Do we know this is real? Is this what the game is eventually going to look like? I remember when I saw the disclaimers saying a work in progress, I thought that meant the game would get better, not worse. So to summarise the message I'm trying to get across here, well, there are two sides to this. Number one, Watch Dogs is a pretty good game. If you felt let down by it at first, I would say try it again if you've still got it in your library. You might have more fun now that the unrealistic expectations may have left your mind. And second, I think these developers, these publishers, they need to learn to be more honest with the consumer, because from that, there'll just be a better relationship and we'll be able to trust what they show us. We'll be able to get excited about games again without the fear that they'll turn out to be less than what was shown. As always, people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.